So
Yeah.
you mentioned storyboarding and then filming, and then obviously you have the editing and producing. So what is the process that you guys kind of go through when, like, let's say a company approaches you, they say, hey, we want to make a commercial, or we want to make a video for a giving day or whatever. What is your
Mhm.
guys' kind of process in from like start to end about how you would take on that contract or negotiate the contract? Not necessarily negotiate, but haggle through the details and then start production until the finished product.
Yeah. So I think for the sake of this, let's just assume that a company comes to us, they have the budget, they have the idea. What we would do there is we'd go into what we call our pre-planning process. And what we found from trial and error is that the more pre-planning you do on the front end, the less revisions you're going to have on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And revisions are killers for freelance videographers, video production companies. Revisions they're a massive waste of time,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's really small things. But we go into the pre-production process, and that's usually going to come with storyboarding, where we'll help them with script development. We'll go through shot by shot of every shot that we're going to get. We'll do things like ask them what their color inspiration is. So if there's a commercial or a movie that they've seen that they really like the color scheme, we'll ask them for that. We'll get their branding guide. We'll fill out an itinerary for the schedule, when we're going to show up, how many people we're going to bring. We decide if we need makeup, set design, voiceover artists, or
Mm-hmm.
actors, and that's all in the pre-production side.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the filming side, we'll get there. We generally price in half days and full days. Those are pretty much our two packages for filming. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll go with anywhere between 3 to 5 of triad group members, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll hire out the rest. So if we need makeup and set design and all of that stuff. And then editing, we bring it back to our studio. And because we storyboard so extensively on the front end now, it's really just kind of dragging and dropping and fitting things together. But we like to be creative. So a lot of times we push ourselves to do crazy special effects, well, that we've never even tried before. And so
Mm-hmm.
that'll eat up a lot of editing time, but it's what keeps us going creatively. And then we give it to the client, and depending on whether or not they have a marketing team, we might advise them on how to boost their post on Instagram or how to get more views on Facebook. But that's not really our expertise, so we pretty much just stop when we deliver the product.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the storyboarding. So we have two questions. I'll ask them separately. But the first one,
Yeah.
the storyboarding process, does that just entail kind of like a rough draft almost of what you guys are planning to do? And did you start doing that more expensive? I know you said revisions are a waste of time, but what makes what about revisions make it so much more difficult than doing the front end? Because it would seem, in some things anyways, is like you're just fixing things, like you're
Yeah.
shooting and then you're fixing things on one end or the other. What makes it so much more difficult on the back end?
So to talk about the storyboarding process first, that's it's a very specific kind of sheet or idea that we have. And so a company is going to come to us, they have their brand. Maybe they just want a general brand video, or maybe they have a specific campaign that they're trying to target.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, the 5 of us, we're going to sit around a table, or we're going to sit in bean bags and just dream and be creative and kind of write the script together, talk about what shots should go with which part of the script based on other commercials that we've seen or things that we want to try. And so when we deliver the storyboard to the client, it's pretty much the script is already done and every shot in the video is already laid out. Whereas if you don't really do that, you're going to have a lot more on the back end to do,
Mm-hmm.
because the client's not going to have that sheet that they can approve that you can go back to later and be like, hey, you approved this already. Why are you trying to switch things up?
Mm.
But
So
on the back end, if you don't storyboard, they might be like, hey, we actually wanted this shot. And then you might have to go refilm it, which is just super tedious.
yeah, definitely. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's a cool concept. It's almost like a rough draft, but hadn't considered going back and refilming things. In my head, I was like, if you just film a bunch of things the first day, then you decide what you want out of the film that you got. But
Yeah.
sometimes people want other things that you didn't capture. Um,
It's like a safety net for us to say that, hey, you approve this.
mhm.
So if you don't like the way it came out, that's not really on us. But we love to have close relationships with all of our clients because
Right.
we want them to keep coming back to us. So we will go and ultimately at the end of the day fix things. But yeah,
Do
we want to keep
you
a
do
good
you write that
relationship.
into your do you write that into your contracts kind of like, hey, once you approve the
Yeah.
storyboard, like it's gonna cost X number to go have us refilm this?
Yeah. So the biggest pain point for us is when a client wants to change a song.
Oh.
So because we cut our videos to the music,
Hmm.
and so what we've started doing is we send them the song that we're going to use with the voiceover on top, so they know they can close their eyes and kind of picture how the video is going to sound.
Hmm.
And so on the front end, before we actually start putting the video together, they can tell us if they don't like the song.
Mm. Yeah, I can see how that would be difficult to change the song
Yeah.
afterwards because you've already edited
Yeah.
all the timings and stuff for. Mm.
Yep.
So the second part of the second question I had was, as you mentioned, like makeup and actors and some of the other stuff. So would you, when you hire those people out, actually, let me go back. Did you start putting that the storyboarding, the editing, the storyboarding in your contracts because you got burned and you learned the hard way?
Yeah, it was a very frustrating process for us
Mm-hmm.
where we felt like we weren't getting better as business people and we weren't getting better creatively.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of making us not really enjoy producing, which innately the five of us, we enjoy producing. So we're
Right.
just trying to keep a nice work environment to where we have things put in place where our end product is what we actually envisioned on the front.
Mm.